Okay.
Hello, everyone. This is Anna Pacheco, Santa Fe 101.com. And today we are going to learn all about Lincoln County. My expert realtor today is Kelli Shelton with Southern New Mexico Living. Kelli, do I have your permission to record this interview?
Yes.
Oh, great. So yeah, let's just, the background on Lincoln County itself, then we'll talk about Ruidoso, which is the county seat. And then we'll talk about Ruidoso, which is really like the hottest spot in Lincoln County, as far as I know.
Yes, it has been a lot of attractions here, and that bring in lots of people. Lots of people wanting vacation homes here. It's a beautiful little piece of Lincoln County.
You have a casino there. It's run by one of the Native American groups, I understand.
We do. We have it's Inn of the Mountain Gods Casino, and then there's also Billy the Kid Casino that's affiliated with the racetrack here. So we do have two casinos, and then a little kind of a patchy gas station / casino. There's plenty of fun things to do when you
So
get
there's
here.
gambling there. And then I always find this, I don't know why, but I always, because you're further south in Santa Fe, and I hear about skiing there. It's like, I just don't think of Ruidoso as ever even hitting snow, but you have an actual ski basin as well.
We do. It's Ski Apache, and it is probably about a 30-minute drive from Ruidoso. It's a beautiful drive, kind of crazy roads, just probably like to any ski area. But they're open. Some of the smaller runs are open now, but we do have for all of Lincoln County schools, they do what's called a school program, and they offer discounted prices for the kids who attend school anywhere in Lincoln County. They have certain days for them to go, for their parents to come, and discounted rates. So it's kind of a neat thing for the kids who grew up in Lincoln County to be a part of.
Oh, yeah, that's a nice service. I actually grew up here in Santa Fe, and growing up here, we had something similar. We had a ski program for the schools. And so I started skiing at 11. And again, skiing tends to be a little expensive, even back in the day
Right.
when I was young. And had it not been for this program, I would have never skied. So what's a wonderful program that's available. And it's for anybody in Lincoln County. That's even nicer.
They do. They have days set aside, and we've taken our kids up the last several years, starting in kindergarten. So you can start when you're 5 and all the way up through high school. So it is a neat thing. My husband grew up here. He's my real estate partner and as well. So he remembers that kind of thing. And for his kids to get to do that is kind of a neat thing.
So before we get into like the nuts and bolts of like regular everyday people in Ruidoso, let's talk about for sure it's a second home destination. A lot of people don't live there year round. Let's talk about that end of the real estate market, and then we'll talk about everyday people real estate.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, typically we have a huge second home market. People are coming here to take advantage of the vacation rentals and stuff like that. So we do have a really small population. I'd say 8 to 9,000 year round just in Ruidoso, but the entire county is about 21,000 permanent residents. So, but at any one time during ski season, horse racing season, we could have 40,000 in this little town. So it's definitely people wanting a second home to enjoy some of the sights and the advantages of having a home here in Lincoln County.
And again, this is just what I know. On my end, aren't a large percentage of those second home owners from Texas?
A lot of them, yeah. West Texas, El Paso, Midland, Lubbock area, quite a few, of course. And then there's a lot of people that we've sold things to lately from California, moving this direction and out of state, a little bit further than Texas.
And so how far a drive from, Lubbock or something, how far are you from some of those places?
Usually, Lubbock is about a 4-hour drive, maybe a little less. Midlands, 4 to 5 hours. We spent a lot of time in Lubbock. We lived there for about 13 years. And, it's just the closest mountains you could get to. And it's, the tall pines, it cools off. We don't even have an air conditioner here. A lot of people like them even in the mountains, but it's just a quick getaway El Paso is about 2-hour drive, so it pretty
So it makes sense
close
that
to
Texas would
airport.
be a large market for you. Oh, and before I forget, air conditioning here in Santa Fe. I don't have air conditioning. Most of the homes here, maybe the newer ones, but for the most part, we don't have air conditioning here. There might be, maybe there's 10 uncomfortable days in the summer, but you really don't need air conditioning.
Yeah, and we encourage buyers, a lot of times if you're coming from West Texas, you just like, I don't even want to stay anywhere if it doesn't have air conditioning. But we don't have air conditioning either. And we encourage buyers, if, before you go to the expense of putting in central air, spend a summer season here and see if you need it. A lot of times people can be a little more thrifty and just buy a window unit or the little, kind that vent outside. So they'll figure it.
So since there's like 40,000 people like at the high season, or I'm assuming there's a pretty large Airbnb market as well.
Very large, yes. When we moved here, we had 5 little cabins here in the Midtown area, and Midtown is like the little business district where you can walk to the shops and the little restaurants, and people love that. Well, since then, man, you're really competing with people that can kind of do it on their own now. Of course, we have a village ordinance that they have to be permitted. They want them safe, they want them fire safe, and to be following the rules and stuff like that. But yeah, thousands of little vacation cabins. If you want a large family gathering of 20 people, there's things that size. If you just want a couple's weekend, there's things for just little studio houses. There's just so much to offer here.
And then what about long-term rentals? Because I know, again, here in Santa Fe, because we're such a tourist destination, it's really hard to find long-term rentals because everything is an Airbnb.
You are exactly right. And people call our office all the time, and we do not do property management out of our office. But there are a lot of offices that do. And few and far between have the long-term rentals. There are some cabin operations that are getting into a little bit more of the long-term market because there's just there's a lot of demand and not very many available.
And are there apartment complexes there? Like 2 or 3 stories or nothing like that?
There's not. There's a few, there's condos, and I think people like that, but very few of them will rent them out long term. There's a few, and most of the time we'll refer them to other offices that have long term. Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace, people will put, if they have long term rentals, that's where they're putting them. Just word of mouth. When we have the horse racing season at our racetrack, the jockeys start coming in about March, April. And they need just a few months, these horse trainers, that kind of thing. And so just word of mouth really helps those people try to find some lodging just for the few months they're here.
And is that typically, so they come in April, is it a summer activity?
It is. Racetracks typically open from Memorial Day to Labor Day, and it's the largest quarter horse race in the world. It's a great time. Of course, they've had to do it on a just a smaller scale this year, with really limiting the people that can go to watch the races to the owners and the trainers and things like that, with COVID restrictions. But it is a great thing. They had fairly new ownership, and so they've really tried to do some great things with it. And unfortunately, just kind of had to be a little bit different this year.
And so I take it you probably get people from not only just all over the country, but maybe other parts of the world for this horse racing.
Yes, definitely. And it is, like I said, it's a great thing. It brings in a lot of, our Chamber of Commerce is great because they do try to get in, stuff year round. And so it's not uncommon to have every weekend booked at your Airbnb or in your cabins, and hotels do really well because they do bring a lot of great things, whether it's the horse fans or the skiing. They have motorcycle rallies and just a lot of different, of course, when Spencer Theater's open, the Inn of the Mountain Gods, they bring a lot of concerts, a lot of just a lot of variety to the area.
There's a lot to do there. So when it's a normal time, when there's only 9,000 people in the town, what time of year is that? When is that?
Oh, it's usually right right after April 15th, the tax season, until the end of school. April is a little bit slow. And then usually right after school starts, September, maybe October, November, between the holidays, but right after. So a little bit slower then, not as much traffic. And
Okay, so when it's for like the normal, like what would a normal house cost for somebody, again, who's not part of, it's not a second home, it's just somebody who wants to live there? What is the median cost of a home right now?
the medium cost is probably about in the high 270s. I'd say probably around 275,000 up to about 330.
And
That
what is
is
square footage for what are you getting for that amount of money?
about well, I'd say probably about 1,100 to 1,200 square feet. Typically, our price per square foot is in the 160 range. In here, probably like in Santa Fe, you can't. We always tell people you can't quite go on square footage just because there are different areas. There's, Rio Ruidoso is a small river that we have. Anything on the river is going to be, pretty sought after. So the price per square foot goes up there, and anything that has a Sierra Blanca view, which is our mountain here, is a little more on the pricey side because people want that view. But that's average, about 160 a square foot.
And when you say it like on the pricey side, what is the pricey side?
Per square foot, again, I'd say upwards of $240, $250 a square foot. We have had a lot of new construction, again, in Ruidoso, in the Alto area. Things are growing up. Even in like on Highway 70, as you're going from Alamogordo to Roswell, there's some new construction. So it's really good. People are building a little more right now than we've seen in a few years past.
And so would you say those houses average around 300,000?
If you're going out, I would say in that area, probably I would say maybe around 500,000, 520,000.
Well, those are not, that's, you're talking Santa Fe prices now.
Right? Yeah. So like I said, area, yeah, you're exactly right. So it does depend, even though Ruidoso and Alto, Ruidoso Downs are kind of right here together. It just kind of depends on where the house lands, different areas.
And then a lot of these vacation homes, I'm assuming those are really expensive.
Well, it's funny. You can buy Airbnb homes, you can buy something to put on Airbnb. It can be a 1-bedroom condo and people will rent it out, so whatever your budget is, it's, people are investing in it and you're still making a little money, and you don't, you can rent it out to just a couple of people or a single person, and you're still making money on your investment. So
what does a condo cost then?
A condo, I say some of these little 1-bedroom, the little studio condos, you can get for 75,000, all the way up to the larger condos, probably in the 350s, 400 range. There's some along the river, even in the 500s. So it's really, for every budget, it seems like there's a good fit.
Well, it's a beautiful area, and you have you've done this Chamber of Commerce, the business community. You've done a fine job, and that's why some of the counties I interview there, it's not as expensive, and yours is a little bit on the higher side. But I think it's because you've done such a good, you've done a good job in terms of getting people there. So let's talk a little bit about Carrizozo is the county seat. Tell me a little bit about real estate in Carrizozo.
Yeah, I was just about to point that out, that, Carrizozo, Capitan, Corona, Hondo, they're all, and Nogal as well. They're all rural areas. And, a lot of people live in those cities. Carrizozo is the county seat. It was a big trail hub. train hub back in, I don't even know when. I don't know a
Well, the
bunch about
1800s.
Ruidoso
The
history.
the railroad,
Yeah, so,
the railroad for the most part, New Mexico
yes.
came from about 1878 to 1880. So
Okay.
right around that
So
time.
White Oaks, a little community out there, some really neat places. I mean, quaint places that authors and artists, and they just want to be out from the I guess the visitors and the tourists. And so there's a lot of other great rural areas in Lincoln County. Carrizozo, it does have a, nice, really nice gas station, some great little cafes and hotels. More rural. White Oaks is real artist, a lot of artists and authors live out there. And it's just off the beaten path. Beautiful, beautiful views of the Capitan Mountains as well out there.
That's where
A lot of
Smokey Bear
open.
came from. Just for our listeners, so they know this, Smokey Bear is actually from the Capitan Mountains. Just so and he's actually, his ashes are interred there. When he died, they actually flew him back from Washington, D.C., and his ashes are interred there. Just a little tidbit I thought people would know about the area. But again, like, what would a house cost in Carrizozo? Like, if something that's already built, not like in a brand new house, but maybe somebody is going to go live with their children in Phoenix now, and they're going to give up the family home. What could people find in some of these areas?
Oh, wow. Well, gosh, 160,000 can buy you several acres, a nice little home. Some are manufactured, some are site built. You can get a little north, more towards Ancho and Corona. You can buy 140 acres for $40,000, put a home on it just to kind of be out. And I know a lot of people from big cities, they've come out there and then just said, hey, we're just going to have somewhere to go hiking or camping. And, you could, something that's been remodeled, really, really nice, even though it may be built in the 1900s, could go for 300,000 and get a few acres with it. Or you could spend 150,000 and get several acres and a home that you could afford. Capitan, especially too, it's got a great school district there, and lots of great little eateries. The Smokey Bear Museum, and there again, you can buy a great home for 300 or less, and have a little bit of acreage too.
And then in terms of architecture, like here in northern New Mexico, you can still find a lot of old adobe homes. Are there adobe homes out in your area, or is it mostly frame built?
It's mostly frame built, not much adobe. Now in Ruidoso, Alto stucco is becoming pretty popular, but you can drive around the area and find anything you want: colonial, log cabin, stucco. You don't find a lot of brick, but I mean, it's just something for every taste.
And so you're saying Alto is kind of a place where artists and writers are moving to?
Well, that was White Oaks. Alto is a kind of, I said, like a suburb of Ruidoso. It has a golf club community, but that's not all of Alto. It's got some great homes in the Sun Valley area, some different subdivisions around there. It's a little higher altitude, a few hundred feet higher than Ruidoso, but it's more of the juniper, not necessarily the big ponderosa pines, but there's some great areas, and it's on the way to Capitan. So a lot of people live in one or the other and then just travel back. It's only about a 20-minute drive.
So you were saying about Capitan, if somebody were watching this, say they work remote, they can work remotely from, Silicon Valley, and they have young kids, Capitan might be a nice place to raise your family.
Yeah, there's a lot of, it's got 4-H and some rodeo type atmosphere, a lot of ranches, a lot of working ranches in the Capitan area, more wide open spaces to have cattle and things like that. So if that's, it's just kind of more of a small town feel, and it's got that ranching feel to it, I think. So it's a great.
Getting back to Ruidoso, is it a retire? I mean, it's a second home community for sure, but is it known also as a retirement community? Are people retiring to Ruidoso?
They are, and my mom and mother-in-law are one of those people. They both live here, and and a lot of people retire here. In fact, they may have a home back in, when it gets cold here, like it's snowing today. They live in Texas for a while. Around Christmas time, it's kind of quiet, but come summertime, all those retired people come back and spend spring, summer here. And our medical community has tried to really, build a new hospital and have some really good folks working there too. So I think that helps the retirement folks feel really good about that.
And are there senior citizen services? Do they have like buses that take people to appointments or that type of thing? Or do they have, here in Santa Fe, we have Meals on Wheels. Do you have something similar there?
We have a senior citizen center, and we do have, several, I think a couple of transit buses that do offer services around locally here. So I think that they get supported, and there's definitely things for them to do and be involved with. A lot of local clubs, churches, Lions Club, Rotary Club, things like that, for them to feel back like they can give back to the community.
Okay, and we're running. Our time is up. See how I told you this would go really fast. I wanted to ask you, in terms of real estate right now, is there a lot of availability in Lincoln County, or is it kind of, do you have low inventory, or what can happen now after this video when people are just going to rush to call you to buy something?
Oh, yes. Well, we have, seems like low inventory on residential homes right now. I think there's a little over 200, which is really low right now, but interest rates are great. There's still stuff available. People are listing, their new things are coming on the market daily. So there's definitely, get a realtor on your side and tell them what you're looking for. And I'm sure they'll be able to help you find something. Lincoln County is a great place to live. Lots of choices for rural or a little closer to town. Lots of options.
Well, I'm hoping that realtor will be you, because this all your contact details will be with this video when it goes live on the website. Great. I want to thank you. And is there anything else you just want to say to anybody, or is...
No, I appreciate you doing this, and I that's fun. I think it's great that what you're doing, and hopefully, yes, I would be happy to help. I have my phone with me all the time. I'd be happy to help anyone.
And you're available 24/7. We can call you at 3 a.m. Listen, I want to thank you so much, and I'm going to come down and visit you one of these days.
Thank you. That would be great. I'd look forward to it.
Thanks again. You take care.